In one of the biggest trilogy fights that the MMA world has ever seen, we had to get stopped due to an injury. So, of course, this highly hyped up fight doesn't even get a decisive ending, but that's just MMA for us. But this was a extremely good UFC 264 card from top to bottom. Had plenty of action, tons of fights, and some really, really crazy stuff went down. Some stuff that we've never seen before. And also, before we hop into things, of course, it happened. I was unable to defend my title that evening. So, Blake Campbell is once again the reigning, defending, undisputed, suck my pick title champion of the world. So, good job, buddy. Good job. You're back on top.
That's right, where I belong.
I just really wanted to tie that record, but those first three fights of the prelims they just didn't go very well now, did they?
Yeah, you started off pretty bad.
You didn't start off the best either, but listen.
At least I got it. I got on the board.
That's fair. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you're champ, so I guess you get that status. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a giant card to get into. Then of course we're going to get you Blake's bangers for UFC Vegas 31, and then gotta have a little bit of a fun nay of the week this round. But before we get into the first fight we're going to talk about, let's just go ahead and shout out our sponsors for all your sports prop betting needs. Going over to ThriveFantasy.com or download the Thrive Fantasy app on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And you can get started today by using promo code 4th and long. And by doing so, on a deposit of $20 and up to $50, they will match you dollar per dollar. You put down 20, you get 20 as well. You put down 50, they'll match it with extra 50. That's just kind of free money in your pocket right there. So go on out, get started on that today. And if you want to become a member of a very prestigious group, as well as help try to get us that much closer to Blake's first paycheck, because I know he wants it. Come on, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. He's crying. He's begging.
Help me. Help me. I'm poor.
We got to reward him for his work.
Not as poor as Ross, but I'm poor.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not even going to deny that part. But you can go on over to patreon.com/4thalong, and just for $1 a month starting, you can become a member of this group and also get a bunch of bonuses. And you can go check out all the offers over, once again, on patreon.com/4thalong. But Blake, let's get on right into things with UFC 264. And before we get to the Sugar Sean and Kris Moutinho fight, just gotta ask the question: did Blake's bangers hit?
Of course.
Of course, right? They absolutely hit. You're on fire. It's been like the last four cards,
It's been some pretty good, choices that I've had. So can't take all the credit, but yeah, the boys haven't let me down. I don't know if I picked too many girls, but if I have, they haven't been letting me down either.
As long as fights aren't getting canceled, I think they've all been hitting.
Pretty much.
Oh, we did have that little bit of a curse, so that was a lot of fun. But man, we had a really solid early prelims, a really good prelim card. But I first want to get started off talking with the bigger story of the night, and that is Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Kris Moutinho. And even though Kris Moutinho was nothing but a walking punching bag for almost 3 full rounds, he stole the spotlight. He really did. O'Malley landed 72% of his strikes. He went 230 of 318, all significant. He was even hitting an 82% clip at one point in this fight. But at the same time, in his debut to the promotion against one of the best, highest-ranked prospects in the sport, what does he do but just walks Sugar Sean all down the entire fight? And so what do you think about this one? It was just insane, right?
Yeah, I definitely am impressed with how many punches Kris can absorb. He definitely has a lot of heart. You can't take that away from him. The guy is a monster. But I think there's just like so much hate getting thrown on Sean just because he didn't get that, devastating knockout blow. And it may be a little bit of his own fault considering he's always calling for a viral knockout. leaving no questions, left to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look at the numbers, look at the performance. I mean, he went out there and just like painted a canvas basically. Like that's really what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Chris's face and his blood, it was an awesome fight. Super high pace the whole time. Like they were just sprinting the whole time. Really, really fun fight to watch, especially if you're kind of more in the casual side. don't like watching wrestling stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude was getting punched in the face every it seemed like 0.5 seconds. So how can you complain about that? But
looked like Colby Covington fighting RDA.
Yeah, for real. I don't know. The kid does deserve a lot of credit. I just don't think that it's like the most impressive thing ever. Like I want to see. Don't get me wrong. I want to see this kid fight again. He definitely, like, I'm a fan for sure. Mm-hmm. I am a fan of his heart. I'm a fan of his desire to stay in there. His will that never bends. But now I want to see. Okay, you fought like a really good prospect, as you were saying. Let's put him in there against another unranked fighter that's not as good. Let's see what he's really got. Give him a fair shot, right?
Yeah.
Full training camp to get prepared for an opponent. I like that.
He took this on 11 days.
Yeah, he was still, don't get it twisted. He was still preparing for another fight,
mm-hmm.
but he was not preparing for Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
And man, if he got the full training camp to prepare for Sean O'Malley, it might have been a little bit more interesting of a fight. Who knows? Because you can tell like that guy has no quit in him at all.
But even in times too, he was landing solid combos on Sean in this fight. He had his moments were few and far between, but he did have moments in this.
He definitely. I remember him landing at least 2 punches throughout the fight, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but like I do remember there was like 2 times where I was like,
disrespectful.
I was watching with my friend next to me.
Total 70 of 218.
Yeah, I just remember 2 specific times where I was like, oh shoot, like it would be those times where he gets Sean backing up a little bit
mm-hmm.
on the back foot, and he's coming forward, and then he throws a little flurry. That's where he was having the most success, is when he would just let those hands go. But I mean, it's so hard when you have a sniper like Sean that's just constantly just dinking on you, man. And let's be honest. Let's talk about those dribble moves out there. Like Sean is out there styling. Suns. By the way, I'm wearing the merch, of course.
Of course he is. Of course he is. If he landed that spinning back kick, if he knocked Moutinho out after dribbling him the spinning back kick, that would be on every single highlight reel. But
I mean, it still has
his chin to granite, I guess. Now one of the questions though, and obviously there's going to be a narrative that might pop up from this, because we all know MMA fans. Kind of had a conversation with someone on this on Twitter, but I think one of the bigger questions is, has Sean's stock actually decreased on the back of this performance, and could people start calling him little kind of soft hands from this one for not being able to put Moutinho down even after landing all of these combinations and all of these strikes?
Absolutely not. I mean, you've seen what he's done to other people like Almeida, Eddie Wineland.
Oh, Eddie Wineland.
I mean, the list goes on and on. Jose Quinones.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, no, that's stupid. If anyone thinks that, I mean, did it help his stock? Not like a ton, because he was going out there and he was saying that he was going to get a viral knockout on a Conor card. There's a lot of eyes watching him. He's already got a huge fan base. We know that. You can look at the Instagram numbers. It's right there. He brings a lot of eyes. He didn't deliver on his prediction / promise, whatever you want to label it. So yes, that does hurt a little bit, but does it like take away from his shine at all? No, because it was still a fantastic performance. I mean, if you're a Sugar fan, like you were complete. That's like a blowout football game or like a basketball game where they won like 120 to 86 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're just dominant. No, almost no points where you even a little bit scared. Like when the Raiders were beating the Broncos back in 2010 with Darren McFadden. Anyway, I won't go too far in that.
That's way too far back, dude. That's way too far back.
I know I got to go back to 2010.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think Sean still had a fantastic performance. It doesn't hurt him at all. He didn't get the viral knockout, but what can you do? You can't always get the viral knockout.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Man, I think you could say that Sugar Sean's stock has decreased, maybe marginally, just because he was able to put this guy down. But I think it's more of the credit goes to Kris and less of the discredit goes to Sean in this one. And I think most importantly, do you agree with the stoppage by Herb Dean?
One more point on the whole stock thing.
Yeah.
If you look up Kris_is_soulless on Instagram, that's Kris Moutinho's Instagram.
Yep.
Not even verified yet. You just go on
He's
there.
still unverified. That's a shame.
You just go on there and you just refresh it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you refresh it, he's going to gain about 100 to 300 followers.
That's ridiculous.
He's at 98.7 thousand followers right now. Before the fight this weekend, I can't remember. I should have wrote down the exact number, but he was under 5,000. So wow. Sugar Sean has almost gotten this guy 100,000 followers in less than 2-3 days, just because this guy got his ass beat.
Yeah, he's at 98.7 right now.
Insane.
He's going to break 100,000 this week.
On Twitter, he's just as good. He's not as good, but he's like I want to say 25, 30, which is crazy for Twitter.
Man, that's ridiculous. Like, there's a lot you can tell about social media, which is insane. But going back to that question, though, this was a very questionable stoppage by Herb Dean. Because, so he called this fight with about 30 seconds to go, and I understand the decision, because technically a ref has the ability to stop a fight after 3 unanswered shots, which is, normally they don't, or if it's stuff like this, but he could have stopped this, if he was going to stop the fight with 30 seconds to go like this, he should have just stopped the fight a lot earlier, probably closer to the second round or whatever. This was...
how about in between round 1 and 2 when he had to be helped by 4 people to get to his stool?
Right. So it was really questionable, especially on a ref like Herb Dean, who's one of the best to ever do it. This was
pretty sure he got dropped twice in the first round too.
Yeah, this was really interesting. What did you think?
So should it have been stopped? Yes, I think it should have been stopped. Should it have been stopped right where it was? No. Because at that point, it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of in that warrior mentality. It's like, dude, he already got there, 30 seconds left. Like, there's nothing that there's nothing taking that guy out.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really cared about him that much, like you were saying, why didn't you stop it going into round 2 or, like before round 2 even started? I mean, the guy was just wobbly.
And there were times in round 2 he could have stopped it.
Yeah. So the timing of the stoppage didn't really make sense to me. But yes, I think that fight could have been stopped at any point going into round 2, like any point.
Yeah.
And the sequence it ended on, Sean was cracking him with like, I mean, tough. Just out of five punches he's thrown, he's landed 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
insane, man.
That's just unreal, bro. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just crazy. I mean, I can't imagine how bad his hands hurt.
Right.
He's not going to be able to play any video games this week, I don't think.
Oh, no Warzone for him, huh?
No.
There goes the streaming. But yeah,
he'll probably power through. I think I saw him live on Twitch today already, so he's probably still chilling.
Probably just has the hands and eyes anytime he's not playing, so it's okay. Keep the swelling down. But exactly. Man, this was so questionable. It's not like you don't want to push it, because if you push the warrior mentality, you get into the Mario Yamasaki kind of stuff. I want to let her be a warrior kind of thing.
Right.
But it's
which is why I'm still not totally opposed to the stoppage. It's like that fight did need to be stopped, but there though, it's like, I mean, brother, it's the Mario Yamasaki and everyone kind of comes out like you might as well just let it finish now, because you're taking away a beautiful performance from Kris. Like, that's one of the most all-time gritty, just hardy performances that we've seen.
Mm-hmm. It's. If you look at it in a vacuum, it's a good stoppage, or it's at least an okay stoppage to a good stoppage. But if you look at it as a fight as a whole, it was really questionable and definitely left a lot of people shaking their heads at that one. But who should Sugar Sean fight next now? Because he had a list of people. The highest name he called after this fight was Rob Font, the number 3 rated bantamweight in the world. There's no way he gets his fight, but I would like to throw out, maybe he said that Dom Cruz has been ducking him. That'd be a fun fight. Or maybe even like a Frankie Edgar kind of opponent.
Frankie Edgar would be tough. That would be the test that would definitely show that Sean's legit, because Frankie's a high-level wrestler. So, but I mean, that Dom Cruz fight sounds like so much fun.
So much fun, right? With the crap talking would be great too.
Yeah. I mean, out of all those fights, I think the Dom Cruz one definitely probably excites me the most, I'd say.
Yeah. I kind of respect him trying to call out for a font, though.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Call out the highest name with the highest number that you can, and especially when you have as much hype that Sean O'Malley does. There's no sense in not trying. He gave you four? I want to say four names, right? It was Jan, Garbrandt, Cruz, and Font?
He's kind of like Gilbert Burns, which just kind of called out like some of the top
basically
guys.
The whole division.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, besides the guys that aren't top 5, which is smart, or like top 10, top 5, which is smart. Like, why, if you don't have to, why go through the whole ladder? Just get the top ranked guy that's not busy. Yeah, unfortunately for him, only about 2 of those guys are realistic, really. Right. Really, maybe even 1.
Yeah. At this point, though, he really does. He needs a top 15 fighter. Hell, maybe even top 10 fighter. But at this point, if he gets that fight, if he gets a Dominic Cruz, if he gets a Frankie Edgar, if he gets anyone at least ranked, he can't afford to lose that fight, because he's beaten up at least to some people, to a lot of, like, at least his haters, beating up a lot of nobodies.
Dude, I'll tell you right now,
he should have beat up, and then he's lost the one fight against a ranked guy. So
Sean O'Malley versus Dom Cruz is a headliner, easy fight night, like
that's
easy.
A fight night. Easy.
Even a pay-per-view, like if it's one of the pay-per-views that doesn't have like a double title, you could put the Sean O'Malley and Dom Cruz as a co-main damn near.
That's a co-main.
Like,
that's easy. That's one of the easiest promos the UFC could make at this point.
You got the new school versus the old school.
The GOAT of the division against a possible future kind of GOAT of the division,
Never know.
Shoot.
It would be a huge favor that Dom Cruz would be doing for Sugar to give him that fight, but I think it would be like probably the most hyped, anticipated fight, like probably besides Corey and TJ.
Honestly,
easily. Even more than Font and Garbrandt was.
Yeah,
way more.
I think a Dominic Cruz Sugar Sean fight would be bigger than the rematch between Piotr Jan and Aljo Sterling.
I think so too. Because everyone already knows the outcome of that fight,
right? Even though it's for a title, this is way more interesting. Hell, this rivals Corey Sandhagen and
I'm
TJ.
saying I don't know which one I'd be more, because like Sandhagen TJ might be a little more
just
high level.
Just because the title shot's on the line.
Yeah. I don't know though, because Sean might come out there and put on a show. Who knows? It'd be.
Oh, it's a hard choice.
Yeah.
All I know, we need this fight. Dom Cruz, do the world a favor and just fight Sugar Sean, please.
That would be crazy.
Please.
And even if he beat him, like, that just solidifies the fact that he is a legend.
Right?
It just solidifies it to the max.
Hey, come on, Dommy, please. Just let this happen.
Just let it happen.
The next fight after this was something that was also really fun, or the third to last fight on the main card. This was Tai Tuivasa and Greg Hardy, and Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa did the world a favor by knocking the lights out of Greg Hardy early in the first round. A minute in, only need to land 11 strikes on this one, and he's now on a 3-fight losing streak after losing 3 in a row before he started this streak. And oh boy, he looked.
He's on a 3-fight winning streak, you said?
Yeah, he lost 3 in a row. Now he's won 3 in a row, and he's red hot. Hell, he might even be deserving of a top 15 opponent this time. But what a short little burst of fight this was, because Greg Hardy came storming and landed a shot, and then a counter strike from Tai Tuivasa. And do you see that? As Greg Hardy was falling, do you see that right hook that barely missed his face?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have killed him.
Yeah. No, I mean, those guys throw with bad intentions in there, man. It's kill or be killed, really. I was just impressed by like how balls to the walls both of them kind of went. Like Hardy, when it leapt in there, it seemed like a grizzly bear, and then Ty, he kind of got clipped. It looked like Greg kind of clipped him a little bit, but Ty took it and then just delivered two heavy blows, and that was really all she wrote.
That was a lot of fun though. What do you think, though? Top 15 fighter for old Tai Tuivasa?
Absolutely. He's run his way back up, so I think give him a top 15. Give him someone that's fun. I mean, give him another good matchup. Give him someone to kind of build because he's a guy that can bring a lot of eyes. He's got a lot of fans for sure. He does the shoeies, which is kind of insanely gross in my opinion. But
do you see the hot sauce shoey?
Yeah, that guy is a jackass for that.
He's a douchebag for that.
Like, if you put a little squeeze in there, that's funny. But
squeezed the hell out of that bottle.
He put half the bottle in there. That's jacked up. So
who does that? Who puts hot sauce in a shoey, man? That fan needs to be banned for life, honestly.
Yeah, he needs to get nay-nayed.
He needs to be put into the octagon with Tai Tuivasa.
Just take a Greg Hardy uppercut.
Oh man, we'll love to see that. I mean, always a show though. But Tai Tuivasa was great. Man, just an exciting fight there. Then the co-main was really interesting in terms of the welterweight title picture because we had Gilbert Burns, who just lost to Kamaru Usman. With the win here, he gets back into title contention. Stephen Thompson, with the win or impressive victory, he might get the next title shot. But that wasn't the case in this one. Burns, he gets a bounce back win. He puts himself back into the title picture. He won 28-27 with all judges giving Stephen Thompson the second round, which I agree with. But the thing is, there is some, I don't know if you noticed this and however many people noticed this, but there is some controversial strikes to end the fight in the third round because it looked like Burns might have landed 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 strikes to the back of Wonderboy's head. Did you see this?
Yeah, I don't think it's like he should have been penalized. I do think it's kind of dirty. It's kind of like, okay, now he needs to be watched a little bit maybe. But I don't think it was completely dirty.
Yeah. I don't think he was throwing it with the intention of landing illegal strikes. He was just...
I think he was just trying to finish strong,
Yeah.
Just show that the judges that he was still the one kind of dictating it.
Because the third round was close. Stephen Thompson controlled most like the beginning half of that round, but then the takedown
wasn't the most entertaining fight. I'll be honest.
Yeah, a little disappointing. Well,
but I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, I understand the fight Burns has to fight against a guy like Thompson.
He's not gonna be able to stand and throw with Stephen Thompson.
No.
Obviously, the fans didn't care though. There's a lot of boos. That's one of the biggest things, right? Like the last 3 pay-per-views, if you don't throw a punch for like 3 seconds, they'll start booing you. The fans have been real quick.
Yeah, they don't care.
No, they don't. What do you think though? How's the title picture look after this fight now? So,
murky still?
Yeah, right. I guess that's fair. But I guess the question: what do either fighter need to do for a title shot? Because Burns cut out predominantly Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal. He probably needs one more win until he gets a second title shot. Then Stephen Thompson, man, he's getting up there, but I think he still has a chance at this title.
It's like Masvidal needs to fight Leon Edwards, and if that doesn't happen, then I'd say why doesn't Burns or Thompson fight Leon Edwards? Well, those guys need to start fighting each other, and Masvidal needs to pick someone. It needs to be either Colby or he lost the Nick Diaz sweepstakes already. Yeah. Put his name in the hat too late. I mean, I guess him and Nate could run it back, but again, that doesn't really do anything.
It just makes each other money, which isn't.
Yeah, it's just kind of murky, man. I don't know. It just kind of depends. Is Usman gonna pick someone soon? And is Chiesa? Does Chiesa have a fight lined up?
No, there's actually kind of a thing I was thinking though. What if we do Michael Chiesa versus Stephen Thompson? No.
Whatever.
It doesn't really excite you?
Not completely. I mean,
what? Hear me out on this one then. So, Stephen Thompson probably needs to take a step back, possibly in the rankings. maybe you put like a. They were trying to do what they did last year in December. They were doing a more bottom of the rankings guy, a little bit of an up and comer, Jeff Neal, against a high ranked fighter like Stephen Thompson. When he was a 5 for this fight, Stephen wins that. What if we do something similar? Number 9 ranked Bilal Muhammad against Stephen Thompson. A big proven fight and a step up in competition for Bilal to see if he could really contend with the top of the welterweights.
That'd be a tough fight for Bilal.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a tough one. I think he'd probably get pieced up in that one.
You think? It'd be a good proven fight for him at least.
Why not? Yeah, I mean,
he wouldn't turn it down. We all know that.
They can make that matchup, but yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, man. The middleweight division kind of sucks right now. Or not the middleweight, I'm sorry. The welterweight division kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
It's just so stagnant.
Like, see, Usman to pick a name, damn it.
Pick a name, and then the guys underneath need to fight. Because they're not fighting either.
Mm-hmm. So, shoot, man. I guess we'll see. See. But while we're on the welterweights,
wait and see.
What do you think? We didn't get the chance to talk about this yet, but what do you think about Khamzat Chimaev's return fight against the Leech? What do you think about this one? And is he kind of ducking Neil Magny?
The Leech, has he finished Neil Magny? No, he did Ponzinibbio. That's who it was. No, the Leech is a good guy, dude. He's a good fighter. So yeah. I want to say he's won like 8 out of 10 in the UFC or something like that. He has a pretty impressive record, is all I know.
He does.
Very underrated. So I think it's a good fight for him to come back to. Solid opponent. Get his his fitness back up to par. See if there's any lingering effects, and then that's when he can go out and maybe face a Neil Magny after that, or go on and face Leon Edwards like he was supposed to. Like who knows? Like all the possibilities are open after that. And the welterweight division, to be honest, needs some new blood in there right now because there's just not enough. Like everyone has either fought each other already or they're just not fighting each other. So
right.
For whatever reason, it doesn't make any sense to me.
What are your hype levels around Khamzat right now? Are they anywhere close to where they used to be when he had his first 3 fights? Are you still excited to see him?
Yeah, I'm excited to see him fight, but I'm not, over the top. And it's to be determined. Like maybe he comes out there and just flatlines this guy again, and then the hype will be right back where it was.
Yeah, it could be right back in an instant.
It could be, especially if he goes out and says, he's ready to smash somebody the next week. So we just got to see if there's any lingering effects, and I think that's the biggest question that has to be answered. Other than that, he could be just as dominant as he once seemed to be.
I don't know, man. If he gets those first round knockouts, the 1-punch knockouts, it's not like he's going to have to worry about his cardio anyway.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I'm looking forward to that. So I guess we'll see soon. At least September, October is going to be a good time. 2 big welterweights returning to the octagon, so I'm excited for that. But the last fight of the night, obviously, was Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor 3. And Dustin goes out, he wins this fight after doctor's stoppage after the first round due to Conor McGregor snapping the hell out of it. What is like both is it the tibia and fibia? I think those are the leg bones. He broke both of them, so he got surgery on Monday. So he's looking good. He's feeling good, I guess now. But this was a really, really exciting and interesting 5 minutes of this trilogy. Obviously, it might have been a little bit disappointing just because we didn't get a conclusive winner. But was Dustin winning this fight almost inevitable?
I think it depends. Depends where McGregor goes from here, because it's not like he's going to come back and get that 4th fight, instantaneously.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're getting that Oliveira and Dustin Poirier fight now for the title.
Looks like the way we're going.
Probably end the year. McGregor's on crutches for 6 weeks. That'll take him out for a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'll have to get back to where he was. Probably
when do you think can we see him? I'm guessing summer would probably be the earliest.
I would say probably like early next year, like March-ish to June, July. So we've probably seen the last of McGregor for this year.
Oh, definitely with that one. But there is obviously you can't say that this fight had a clear winner. But Dustin Poirier easily won that first round. Could you call it the 10-8? I know two of the judges did. Do you agree with that scoring?
I don't know. That one's tough for me, man. I didn't know if it was a 10-8, but I mean, Poirier was definitely he was landing some really heavy shots from top position, and and Conor was kind of trapped there. Really, kind of seemed like Poirier just let him up towards the end there after he took a couple, heavy what do you call those back kicks on the ground? What do you up kicks?
Yeah.
Conor has some crazy ass looking up kicks, dude. He looked like a freaking donkey out there.
Probably helped that at least scoring Dustin. He was grabbing his gloves.
Yeah. That, but I mean, you see the slow mo replays, and that is true. Like he was doing that. It's not the first time he's done it either.
No.
But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So
exactly.
No, I'm just kidding.
John Jones he just tries the hardest, doesn't he?
Right. He tries so hard. So does Chael Sonnen, though. Don't even start with that.
Do you see? I mean, it's a little bit of a tangent, but it's funny because John Jones finally blocked Chael Sonnen on Instagram or Twitter.
It took him so long.
So I love Chael P. Sonnen. The P stands for block.
Like what was the breaking point for John? Like there's
I don't know. I didn't.
Already
think
been
there's
so much
crazy.
that's been said.
I don't know how Chael. You would thought he would have blocked him a while ago.
Yeah, like I'm saying, he's probably already said the worst of what he was gonna say. I don't get. Just enough is enough. Finally, after years of harassment, he's finally over it. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a great question, but I think there's a lot that you could put into this being a 10-8 round. I think at least this was a clear 10-9 for Dustin. A clear 10-9.
For sure. Dustin won that round for sure. I don't know. I don't know about a 10-8. I thought it was a 10-9 because Conor looked good on the feet.
Yeah, he definitely has.
And he did have a submission attempt,
Yeah, it was a good submission attempt.
It was decent. He was hands were locked. He was underneath the chin, but Dustin did do a good job of fighting through it and getting to the next position, and then advancing and getting in a dominant position. So
the guillotine was kind of confusing to me though because he had a good position, but a Conor McGregor. Don't get me wrong. He's not known as a submission guy. Okay. No. He's not a submission expert. Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, he's known for his guillotine. So it's really interesting to see Conor trying to pull a guillotine on Dustin, where you assume Dustin could pull a guillotine from everywhere. He almost got Khabib he almost submitted Khabib. At least he got pretty close to anyone's ever gone to getting him with the guillotine. So for a man that's so good at the guillotine, you probably assume that he knows how to get out of almost any of them as well. So it looked like Conor was almost tiring himself out more. And then also even Coach Kavanaugh came out and said that they were trying to implement the guillotine into this fight. So that was a weird game plan for me, or at least to me.
You go for what you go for.
Shoot, I guess, man. But we had what Conor was saying, the first one to shoot's a bitch. And Dustin's going to leave on a stretcher. And then he's going to break Dustin's leg. I know, Conor didn't shoot for a takedown first. He went for the clinch. Then Dustin went for the takedown. But 2 of the 3, Conor kind of a little karma on that one.
Yeah, no, and Dustin's line at the end was pretty crazy when he said karma's not a bitch, it's a mirror.
So good.
That made like the party that I was at, it just made everyone kind of just go, oh.
Right? Man, Dustin, he not only did he beat Conor McGregor in this fight, he beat Conor McGregor in the trash talk this whole week.
Yeah, it was kind of a win for the good guys, I guess you could say.
Man, yeah, no, I think so. But through this, though, there's obviously Conor obviously got a lot of backlash for his post-fight interview that he gave on the ground, sitting next to Joe Rogan. Talking that Dustin should watch out because he's going to kill him and his wife in their sleep. It is a really interesting post-fight interview. And has your opinion on Conor McGregor changed?
Nah, not at all.
No.
I mean, does he always say the correct things? No.
Hell no.
I mean, what are you going to do when you have a mic in your face and a camera in your face like 24/7? Like, of course you're going to say some ridiculous things. Are those being said more often now? Somewhat, I guess. It's just different results are tied to it too, right? Like different outcomes are being tied to what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not as cool, I guess, when you're the one when you're the nail and not the hammer. But I mean, Conor, he is who he is, man. I think he knows at the end of the day who he is to himself, and he's okay just going out there and saying and doing whatever because he's already rich as hell and knows that him doing that is just going to bring even more money and even more people watching. So why not just go all out?
Fair enough. And so, do you put more into that the nice Conor that we saw against Don Cerrone and against Dustin Poirier in their second fight? Was that more of I guess kind of like a facade than mean Conor is? Is mean
I don't
Conor
know.
the real Conor?
I'm not a psychologist, so it's hard for me to like dissect all this stuff.
Let's be some armchair psychologists here.
I guess I don't know. It definitely seems like it comes. I don't know though, because it didn't necessarily seem like he was acting for when he was being nice. I mean, it seemed like that came pretty naturally because, obviously him being a douche comes naturally, and he's the best at that for the most part. But him also being, gracious and kind, and that seemed pretty genuine when he was doing it for the Cowboy fight and for the Dustin Poirier fight, the second one. So I don't know. I think that's a tough one to answer.
I think the news is that Conor McGregor is just bipolar.
He's a chameleon,
Yeah, he just does whatever the hell he wants to, I guess.
I just think it's funny too, bro, how like everyone when he came back and he was being all nice, everyone just started getting on his ass to say, "Oh, we need the old Conor back," and then now everyone's just crucifying him for the old Conor coming back. Like, I don't understand why people can't just make up their minds. Like, what do you want?
That's fair.
And it must be super frustrating on his end to see, all these fickle MMA fans that just, they're on your side one day and then they completely flip the script the next, even when you do exactly what they've been screaming and crying for you to do. So
that is a good point, because if you got to pick something, okay? If you're saying that Conor should just be nice Conor, that's fine. If you're saying Conor should just be mean Conor, that's also fine. But yeah, you can't flip-flop on that one, it
seemed like everyone's been flip-flopping. So.
I prefer nice Conor, but at the same time, I wasn't really calling for the return of mean Conor. I was just like, I wasn't mad that we got it, but I wasn't like out there saying that Conor should. I didn't think that was like an issue though. I didn't think that Conor would be better just because he's talking hella smack again.
Just a storyline.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not really more of a non-issue, but I guess people make out more than it seems. But at least we can all agree that Conor is in a bit of a crossroads right now, because he is going to be out for a while. I think he has 2 more fights on his UFC contract, I believe. So I think he still at least has 1 more fight. It won't be for a while. We can agree that Dustin Poirier should and will fight Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title, hopefully later this year, maybe close to like November, maybe December, which would be great. But where should Conor McGregor go from here?
It's way too far out, dude. There's no way that you could tell right now at this point.
What would you like him to?
No way.
Just if we could just see into the future, is there something
he's got to? I mean, he's got to heal up. Is he even gonna come back? Okay,
all right.
We'll
Let's
play the
make some
hypothetical
assumptions.
game.
Let's make some assumptions. Conor McGregor comes back fully healthy, fully recovered from this injury, and he's going to fight at least 1 more time. What do you see? Do we see the trilogy with Nate Diaz, or do we see a 4th fight with Dustin Poirier? Because Dana White was definitely suggesting that.
I don't know. I mean, if Dustin wins against Charles Oliveira, he could come back and fight Dustin for the belt.
But that doesn't make sense, though, is a problem. But also,
makes sense.
But
I mean, who else is Conor going to fight?
Yeah.
He could fight RDA because there's beef there.
And then do you see
the trilogy with Nate
doesn't
doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Because, Nate's a welterweight now. So that's kind of off the table unless Conor just wants to do like a Cowboy Cerrone fight.
Mm-hmm.
Gaethje or Chandler, who knows what's going to be up with them. They'll probably be fighting each other at some point this year, I would imagine.
They should just fight the co-main event on the Dustin and Oliveira card.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that those are the guys that I'd be probably the most interested in, is like Chandler, Gaethje, or an RDA, just because of the shit talk.
Yeah. Do you want Conor to at least have one more fight?
To me, it honestly doesn't matter to me. I want him to do what he wants to do with his life.
Just talking as a fan, if Conor never fights again, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it. I think the sport's grown enough to where it can, they can kind of carry the torch from here. Because now we see like Conor isn't elite anymore. He's not the best of the best anymore. I mean, it didn't look like it in that first round anyway. I mean, who knows? Fight game's crazy. Stuff could have changed very quickly in that second round.
He has moments, but at the same time,
it sucks that it got taken away from us and we didn't get to see a definitive, outcome.
This might be one of the biggest what ifs in MMA history. What if Conor broke his ankle? But at the same time, I'm okay with this fight ending the way it did, because I thought Dustin handily won that first round.
But it's just the first round, though.
Yeah, but
that's the only thing is you can't base a fight off of just one really good round.
You can't, which is
especially
tough.
With the fighter like Conor McGregor.
At the same time, Conor does
he's been in wars with Diaz, with Chad Mendes. I mean,
Conor tapers off typically. Dustin normally gets better. But it's not definitive, and so I mean, this is always just going to suck no matter how the hell we want to talk about this.
Yeah, it's just, that's all you can say is it just sucks. It's not definitive, and for Dustin to act like it is, kind of shows his true colors.
I don't know if I fault him for that though.
He can definitely talk his shit, but I mean, don't act like it wasn't a freak crazy incident. Like you didn't get the closure that I think that was really needed.
But did Dustin possibly check that kick to cause the break, or at least to help cause it?
Who knows? I mean, that's just all speculation.
You're saying you saw some stuff. You're thinking maybe if Dustin did check something to lead to a break, you saw something.
I didn't see anything where it looked like he checked something that would have broke it. I did see where maybe Conor McGregor clipped his elbow on one of the kicks. I'm sure you can find them on YouTube. There's a few slow-mo videos going around.
I mean, there's probably like the MMA doctor.
But who knows? Who knows? That's 100% speculation. I'm not qualified to even try to speculate on that.
And then Coach Kavanaugh was talking about how he had an ankle injury in camp that might have helped lead to this injury. But I think at the end of the day, there's just so much stuff that went into this, and it's really, we're never going to get a decisive answer, unfortunately. I guess we're just going to live with it, though, and just kind of see how this lightweight division kind of goes on, and probably goes on very possibly without Conor McGregor. So, man, just gotta love people while they're still here, I guess, man. You really never know. I guess a great point made by Bilal Muhammad over this weekend too, because he said that's why Khabib's record of being undefeated is that much crazier and better, because there's a lot of ways you can lose a fight, like a freak injury like this too, and for that to never happen is impressive. And
absolutely.
So, gotta give some thought to that. But that's going to do it for UFC 264. Blake, let's get those bangers for UFC Vegas 31 and look ahead to this solid, maybe one of those cards with not the name value, but it's one of those cards that almost always overexceeds expectations.
Yeah, it could be, one of those sneaky good cards that just keeps you entertained even when you least expect it. So for the bangers this week, we'll get right into it. I'm going to go Daniel Rodriguez versus Preston Parsons. That's going to be basically what we like to refer to as the main event of the prelims.
Yep.
So final fight on the prelims. Daniel Rodriguez is a guy that has kind of been on fire since coming into the UFC. He's only lost to Nicholas Dalby out of all of it. I think 5 fights so far in the UFC. So 4-1. He's beat a guy like Tim Means, who just beat Dalby, Dwight Grant, Gabriel Green most recently, everybody's favorite fighter, Mike Perry. So yeah, I think that should be a good fight. Preston Parsons is a guy that is going to be making his debut. We'll see what he has to offer. He's on a 4-fight finishing streak by getting victories. So there's a little bit of a height discrepancy. We'll see if that plays a factor. It's going to be interesting. The next one that I have coming up for you guys is Gabriel Benitez versus Billy Quarantio. I picked these two guys just because Benitez is a veteran who's been around and has fought a lot of really good guys. Billy Quarantio is a guy that, I don't know, he just kind of throws down.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of new to the promotion. I think he came in last year. I could be wrong on that. Let me check my. Yeah, he came in 2019, December 2019. So just a little over a year he's been in the promotion. He is 3-1. Most recent loss to Gavin Tucker. Should be a pretty entertaining fight. I remember one thing that sticks out to me with Billy Quarantio is he's the guy that hit Spike Carlisle, the alpha ginger, as he was turning away.
Yeah.
And so
mistakenly,
thought the bell had rung or whatever, but
right.
No, it hadn't. It's still like 1 or 2 seconds left. So he gets clipped. So that was hilarious.
It was so good.
And then the last banger I have is Jeremy Stevens versus Matus Gumroad. I don't know if I said that right, but I think these two dudes are going to throw down. Similar in height, 5'8", both of them. 71-inch reach for Jeremy Stevens, 70.5-inch reach for Gumroad. Jeremy is 5 years the senior, 35-30. So I'm hoping Gumroad knocks this guy out because Stevens been kind of pissing me off with his mouth.
Yeah, his most recent interview is just he's such a douchebag.
It's not pleasurable.
Unnecessarily too, man.
Listen to him.
Dude, why you gotta say that?
Yeah, I'd love to see him in close run it back, but it's like, man, I don't know if
Steven said he moved on because he beat him at the weigh-in.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
It was so dumb. And then another thing though is that this is also going to be Misha Tate's return fight on the co-main of this one too. This is her first fight since 2016 in November when she lost a decision to Raquel Pennington. So, I mean, a legend like Misha Tate this is always going to be one of the pioneers of this women's division and one of the really big names of it. So, it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see her in her return.
Fighting Marion Renault, who is 10 years older than her.
It should be a fight that she should win, I hope so.
Crazy.
But, man, we're going to find out, man. And I'm excited to this card. I always like these ones.
I mean, it's kind of a gimme fight, dude. Renault hasn't won a fight since she fought Sarah McMahon in 2018. So
I'm not going to complain, man. I want to see
literally
Misha Tate win.
1, 2, 3. So she's lost 4 out of her last 5.
Misha Tate has gone 5-2 in her last 7 fights. So, hey, but also, would you really think that the UFC would book Misha Tate in a tough fight in her first fight back since 2016?
I wouldn't hope so. No, because they kind of need her to instill some life in that division.
Right. I want to see her do well. So, of course, I have my fingers crossed for that. But it's that time of the week, as usual. One of the best things I like to do. Let's get into the nay of the week to cap things off. And I got to give it to, there's one man that I could definitely give it to, but something a little more specifically, Blake. I'm not going to give it to Conor McGregor, generally. This award of the nay of the week goes to Conor McGregor's calcium intake, because, man, get off the whiskey, get off the proper number 12, and go drink that high-quality milk, maybe a little 2% action, Come on. We might be able to avoid stuff like this. We might be able to avoid free accidents like this. Kids, drink your milk, okay? Because milk gets your bones nice and strong, so you don't embarrass yourself and also piss off the entire MMA community because we don't get a decisive trilogy fight in one of the biggest trilogies in UFC history. I think it's that simple, right? Simple, drink your calcium, drink your milk, eat your green beans, okay? And stay off the whiskey.
You tell him, Ross. You tell him.
I told you, Blake, was it like 4 shows ago? I was trying to say that this is a health show. This is a health show, as long as a UFC show, in a combat sports show.
Hell yeah. I'm healthy as hell.
More proof. Hey, I believe it because you all know what Blake does before we record these? He goes gets a workout in. Okay. But give the man his respect. Even though he's weird, he works out at the night. I get on my level 5.
It's either that or work out at like 5 in the morning.
Hey,
so.
5:30 a.m. workouts. Get on my level. I hate it, and I am dying all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining on this one. It's always a blast. And then, another edition of UFC Talk. We're on to 52 now, so it's been a whole hell of a lot of fun. Before we sign things off, just want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. Shout out to Ray Rodriguez, and for all your card collecting needs. This man just showed me he got a couple of real nice cards, but he got a real nice Conor McGregor and little card, and then as well as a Nate Diaz card. So plenty of MMA stuff with the card collecting now. So go on over to @TheBigBatBox on Instagram. Shout out to Ryan Watson and Neil Wiley. But Blake, your thoughts on UFC 264 in one word or phrase?
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business. I was thinking that or disappointing, so I'm glad you went with the phrase this time. I always love having one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA history. We're going to be looking back on that Saturday night for the decades to come. But ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed UFC 264. Hope you have a great time watching UFC Vegas 31 this weekend, especially with the Blake's Bangers. And we will catch you in the next one.